What the worst cave accidents caused by wild animals?
Cenote dos
So for
Ojos
people, for all
incident.
those cavers, yo, so
On
I've been
July
dropping,
8th,
July 8th, I've been dropping a lot of cave videos. So for the cavers watching my videos, don't forget there's animals in the motherfuckers.
2021,
Like imagine,
Carlos Mendoza led an advanced cave diving expedition into Mexico's Cenote dos
like
Ojos.
hold on, like imagine being in the cave and you're squishing and you have to like exhale to move, to move, to move. Meanwhile, a black widow is like crawling on the ceiling towards you, and you can't squish it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, nah, that's crazy.
Host system. Carlos was 31 years old and had been teaching cave diving for 12 years. His clients were experienced divers, Janet Morrison, a 38-year-old underwater photographer specializing in cenote systems, and Tom Bradley, a 42-year-old technical diver from Texas. Cenote dos Ojos, meaning two eyes, was one of the world's longest underwater cave systems, with over 80 kilometers of surveyed passages. The cenote featured two separate entrances connected by a complex network of tunnels and caverns. Underground rivers flowed through limestone corridors carved over millions of years. The water temperature remained constant at 25 degrees Celsius year-round. Carlos had guided over 800 cave dives without a serious incident. The team met at 8 a.m. for equipment preparation and dive planning. They would
800 is a lot. That's a lot.
enter through the north eye, penetrate 200 meters into the main tunnel, explore the halocline where fresh water meets salt water, then return via the same route. Maximum depth would be 18 meters with a planned bottom time of 45 minutes. Each diver carried twin 12-liter tanks, primary and backup lights, and emergency
I'm speaking to you now because a very brief window of opportunity has opened.
What is it? Oh no, skip button.
devices. Carlos attached the main guideline at the cavern zone entrance, the point where natural light disappeared. The team descended into crystal clear water, with visibility exceeding 100 meters. Limestone formations created cathedral-like chambers decorated with stalactites and flowstone. At 15 meters depth, they passed through the halocline, a distinct layer where fresh groundwater mixed with saltwater intrusion from the ocean. The density difference created a mirror-like effect that distorted vision. Janet began photographing the unique geological formations. Her powerful strobes illuminated hidden chambers and revealed intricate details in the rock. Tom maintained position as safety diver, monitoring air supplies.
Wait, so they're like cave diver photographers? Like they take pictures of like the caves and shits? Like I thought they were like going there to like take pictures of the animals in the seas.
And navigation. At 150 meters penetration, Carlos noticed unusual movement in a side passage. A large green moray eel, approximately 5 feet long, emerged from a crevice between limestone blocks. Moray eels were common in cenotes connected to the ocean, but this specimen was exceptionally large. The eel's behavior seemed agitated. It opened and closed its mouth repeatedly, displaying rows of sharp teeth. Carlos signaled for the team to maintain distance and continue along the main guideline. As they swam past the side passage, 2 more eels appeared. The largest one, nearly 6 feet long with a massive head, positioned itself directly in their path. Janet, focused on photographing the limestone formations, didn't notice the eel until it was 2 meters away. The eel's defensive posture escalated quickly. It coiled its muscular body and opened its mouth wide, revealing a bright yellow interior lined with needle-sharp teeth.
Yo, you know what's so crazy about these animals too? Mind you, every animal back then was like 2 times bigger. So just imagine these fuckers back then.
Carlos recognized breeding season territorial behavior. The eels were defending their nesting area against perceived intruders. He signaled for an immediate retreat, but the narrow passage limited their maneuvering options. Janet's camera housing caught on a limestone protrusion as she tried to back away. The housing's
She
lanyard
just like flashed a light in the eel's eye.
wrapped around a rock formation, temporarily trapping her. Tom moved to assist, but his movement triggered the largest eel's attack response. The eel lunged forward with surprising speed, its jaws clamping down on Tom's right forearm, just above his diving glove. The bite penetrated the 5mm neoprene suit and drew blood immediately. Tom's regulator fell from his mouth as he instinctively pulled away. Carlos quickly inserted his backup regulator into Tom's mouth, while simultaneously signaling for emergency ascent. The eel released its grip but remained aggressively positioned. Blood in the water attracted the attention of the other eels, which began moving toward the group. Janet freed herself from the limestone snag and activated her
Yo, this is like a
signaling
movie scene.
device.
Like the attack of the eels.
The 3 divers began a controlled emergency exit, following the guideline while Tom's arm continued bleeding. At 100 meters from the entrance,
next
they
eel?
encountered a 4th eel blocking their path. Carlos used his dive light to create bright flashes, temporarily disorienting the eel enough for the group to pass. They reached the cavern zone and ascended to 5 meters for a safety stop. Tom's bite wound required immediate medical attention. At the surface, Carlos administered first aid and called for emergency medical transport. Tom received 12 stitches at the local clinic and antibiotic treatment to prevent infection from the eel's bacteria-laden mouth. Janet's photographs captured the moment before the attack,
Oh, you should have showed the real photo.
showing the eel's impressive size and aggressive posture. The incident report noted that breeding season made normally docile eels extremely territorial and dangerous to cave divers. Florida Springs incident.
Yo, that was kind of a long ass, like, I feel like you could have made that very, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that was kind of long for one story.
On September 22nd, 2020, Rick Patterson organized a cave diving trip to Ginnie Springs in northern Florida. Rick was 45 years old and owned a local dive shop. He had been diving Florida's spring systems for 20 years. His group included Michelle Santos, a 29-year-old cave diving instructor, Alex Thompson, a 33-year-old recreational diver visiting from Michigan, and Lisa
Florida?
Chang,
Okay, I'm guessing they're about to get attacked by crocodiles.
a 24-year-old marine biology student from the University of Florida. Ginnie Springs was famous for its crystal clear water and extensive cave system. The main spring produced 72 million
Wait,
gallons of
actually,
water
are there-
daily
There's no crocodiles in water caves. I mean, that sounds stupid, but, like, you know.
at a constant temperature of 22 degrees Celsius.
Like,
The spring
crocodiles are
entrance
where,
opened
like,
into
you
a
know,
large
animals
basin
be
before
crossing
narrowing
on the
into
lakes.
underwater passages that extended for miles through the limestone aquifer. September marked the beginning of alligator breeding season in Florida, when territorial males became increasingly aggressive. Local wildlife officials had posted warnings about unusual alligator activity near several spring systems. Rick had noticed the signs, but assumed they
Imagine being able
Wait,
to
wait,
build an app
wait.
with
Rick had noticed the signs, but assumed they were what? They were fake or what? Wait, hold on. Let's go back.
had posted warnings about unusual alligator activity near several spring systems. Rick had noticed the signs, but assumed they referred to surface encounters, not diving activities. The group arrived at 9
Oh, so Rick assumed what I just assumed. Okay, Rick. So me and you, we would have both died. Okay.
a.m. and began equipment preparation
Nah, never mind. Because if I see anything with a crocodile, I'm not going to water at all.
the wooden dock. The water appeared unusually murky compared to Ginnie's typical gin clear conditions.
Oh, no,
Tannins
yeah,
from
that's
recent
crocodile
rainfall
water.
had reduced visibility to about 15 meters instead of the normal 50 meters. Rick briefed the group on the cave system layout and emergency procedures. They would enter the main spring, descend to the cave mouth at 8 meters depth, and explore the first chamber for 30 minutes before returning. Alex had limited cave diving
Yeah, that
experience,
sounds
so
normal.
they planned a conservative penetration distance of 75 meters. Lisa carried underwater research equipment to
That a
collect water
gun?
samples for her thesis on spring ecosystem health. As they entered the water, Rick
Yo,
noticed
Lisa's me. Yeah, you guys bring the flashlights. I'm gonna bring the gun.
unusual ripples near the spring's edge where cypress trees created overhead cover. Something large had recently disturbed the water surface. Michelle spotted fresh gouges in the sandy bottom near the cave entrance, claw marks nearly 15 centimeters long. She pointed them out to Rick, who recognized them as alligator tracks. The
Okay. That's when we get out the water and call it another day.
scratches were recent, made within the last few hours. Despite this evidence, Rick decided to proceed with the dive. Florida
the
springs
fuck?
typically remain too cold for
And the girl that pointed it out. All right, bro. I guess Lisa must have a gun on her.
alligators to spend extended time underwater. The group descended along the limestone walls toward the cave entrance. At 6 meters depth, the water temperature dropped noticeably. Lisa activated her sampling equipment and began
The
taking
gun.
measurements. Alex followed closely behind Rick, maintaining visual
Lisa!
contact with the reduced visibility. As they approached the cave mouth, Michelle's dive light illuminated something unexpected. Two
Hold on. I kind of want to slow this down. Like, I could hear perfectly fine, by the way. But it's just, you know, it's getting juicy.
large eyes reflected the light from inside the cave entrance. The alligator was massive, easily 11 feet long with a head the size of a small boat.
Holy. He called it a crocodile. Massive. That's 11 foot. Gustavo was like 29 or 30 feet fucking long.
The reptile had positioned itself directly inside the cave mouth, blocking the entrance passage. Its powerful tail extended into the darkness behind it. Rick immediately signaled for the group to stop and back away slowly. Alligators typically avoided divers, but this individual showed no signs of retreating. Instead, it maintained its position
that's
and
a
began
dinosaur.
displaying aggressive behavior. The gator's mouth opened slightly, revealing rows of conical teeth designed for crushing. Its body language
Bro, you
indicated
know what's so crazy? If that grabs you, you're done. Like, it doesn't have to kill you. All it has to do is just snap onto your leg and bring you down. Oh, yeah, but they have tanks. So you'd have to, like, fight, like, well, like, you know?
territorial defense rather than predator-prey behavior. This was a breeding male defending his chosen territory.
It'll still kill you,
Alex,
though.
unfamiliar with alligator behavior, continued swimming forward despite Rick's signals. The movement triggered the alligator with alligator predator-prey behavior. This was a breeding male defending his chosen territory. Alex, unfamiliar with alligator behavior, continued swimming forward despite Rick's signals. The movement triggered the alligator's attack response. With explosive speed, the gator lunged from the cave entrance directly toward Alex. The reptile's jaws opened wide, revealing a pink mouth interior lined with 80 sharp teeth. Rick pushed Alex aside just as the alligator's jaws snapped shut where his torso had been moments earlier. The impact knocked Alex's regulator from his mouth and sent his mask flying. Michelle immediately moved to assist, inserting her backup regulator into Alex's mouth while he struggled to replace his mask. The alligator, having missed its target, began circling the group with increasing agitation.
Yo, this is a movie scene. But it's only in Florida.
Its movements created powerful underwater currents that stirred up sediment from the bottom. Visibility dropped to less than 5 meters, making it impossible to track the predator's position.
Holy
Rick activated
shit.
his emergency whistle to alert surface support. The sound seemed to further agitate the alligator, which began tail slapping.
Wait, how does that work? Emergency whistle? I have to Google that. Because how does that work? You can't hear sound underwater from up above. So unless it's like you whistle in it, it's like a device that alerts like someone that has the other device. That makes sense.
Dominance over its territory.
But then it said
Lisa,
it made a sound that the alligator hated.
still focused on her research equipment,
Yo,
didn't
shoot that
realize the
gun.
danger until Michelle grabbed her arm and pointed toward 2 more sets of eyes emerging from the shadows. 3 alligators now surrounded the dive group in the confined spring basin. The largest male continued its aggressive displays while the smaller individuals maintained defensive positions near the cave system. Rick made the decision for an emergency surface evacuation. The group began a rapid ascent, but the dominant male followed them upward. At 3 meters depth, the alligator made a second attack attempt, this time targeting Michelle's fins. Its jaws clamped down on her right fin, the impact transmitted through her leg. She kicked frantically with her left leg while Rick struck the alligator's snout with his dive light. The reptile released its grip and sank back toward the bottom. The group surfaced immediately and swam quickly to the dock. Alex
Bro.
suffered minor cuts from
I don't know. I don't remember who the camp instructor of this dive was. Fire him. Immediately. You tell me that you seen fresh crocodile tracks and you ignored it and you went fire him now.
lost equipment, and Michelle's fin showed puncture marks from the alligator's teeth. Local wildlife officers arrived within 20 minutes.
I just want to see if they fire him. That's all I care about. Oh my god, this is a long fat line. Alright guys, so what did you learn so far? I learned that if I see a sign that says crocodiles in water, there's probably crocodiles in the water. And if I see crocodile tracks in the water, then there's probably crocodiles in the water. So what do? Psst. I guess I just don't go in the water. What do? Psst. They fuck around and found out.
Confirmed that 3
Yeah,
large
they're really lucky that those were some bitch crocodiles. There's some real crocodiles out here where if you fuck around, you're not even gonna find out. Your family's gonna find out.
males had claimed territory in the spring system during breeding season. The cave entrance remained closed to divers for 6 weeks until the alligators moved to deeper water. Blue Hole Incident. On March 15th, 2019, Mike Rodriguez prepared for what seemed like a routine dive at Belize's Great Blue Hole. Mike was 34 years old and had worked as a dive master for 8 years. He guided 3 tourists
I never heard no one say dive master, so he must be different.
that morning. The Great Blue Hole stretched 300 meters across and plunged 125 meters into the Caribbean Sea. Ancient limestone formations created a circular sinkhole that attracted divers from around the world. The group departed from Ambergris Cay at 7:30 a.m. aboard a 28-foot dive boat. Weather conditions were ideal with 2-foot swells and unlimited surface visibility. Mike briefed the group about the dive plan. They would descend to 40 meters along the rim, explore the limestone stalactites for 25 minutes, then ascend slowly with a safety stop at 5 meters. He mentioned the typical marine life: reef sharks, groupers, and angelfish.
What the fuck is a reef shark? Bro, how much sharks are there?
What he didn't mention
A light-skinned shark?
was the unusual shark behavior reported by other dive operators that week. The team entered the water at 9:15 a.m. Surface visibility was excellent at 30 meters. They descended along the vertical wall, passing through layers of different colored water. At 15 meters, the water changed from light blue to deep indigo.
Yo, I wonder, like, do these coaches or these experts tell their diver people, like, hey, yeah, there was a couple of shark reports last week. Do you guys still want to go in? I'm pretty sure the women would have said no.
Sarah checked her depth gauge and air supply. Her tank showed 180 bar of pressure. David adjusted his underwater camera housing and tested the strobe lights. The flashes illuminated the limestone formations in brilliant white bursts. At 25 meters, they encountered the first marine life. A large Nassau grouper, nearly 4 feet long, observed them from a crevice in the wall. Emma pointed excitedly at the fish, her first encounter with such a large specimen. As they continued descending, the walls became more dramatic. Ancient stalactites hung from the ceiling like stone daggers, formed when the cave was above sea level thousands of years ago. At 35 meters, Mike noticed movement in the blue water beyond the wall. 3 Caribbean reef sharks swam in lazy circles about 20 meters away. Each shark was approximately 6 feet long, with the characteristic blunt snout and bronze coloring. Mike signaled to the group and pointed toward the sharks. This was exactly what they had hoped to see. David immediately began photographing his
Oh, never mind. They had hoped to see this? Okay.
camera strobes firing repeatedly. The bright flashes seemed to catch the sharks' attention. Instead of maintaining their distance, they began swimming closer. Within minutes, 2 more sharks appeared from the deeper water, then 3 more. The sharks' behavior was
God damn, this is a swarm.
different from Mike's previous encounters. Instead of showing mild curiosity before swimming away, they circled tighter and moved with more aggressive body language. Their pectoral fins were lowered and their swimming pattern became more erratic. Sarah noticed the change first. As a marine biologist, she recognized territorial behavior. She tapped her tank with her dive knife to get Mike's attention. Mike looked at his dive computer. They had been at depth for 18 minutes and were consuming air faster than planned due to the excitement. Emma's breathing had accelerated and her tank pressure was dropping quickly. The largest shark, nearly 8 feet long, approached within 5 meters. Its movements were no longer casual. David continued taking photos, unaware that his strobes might be triggering the aggressive response. Mike made the decision to abort the dive. He signaled for an immediate ascent. The group began swimming upward along the wall, but the sharks followed. At 25 meters, the largest shark made a close pass directly in front of Sarah. She pressed herself against the limestone wall, her heart rate spiking. Mike grabbed David's camera and switched off the strobe function. Without the bright flashes, the shark's behavior began to calm slightly. The group continued their ascent, maintaining visual contact with the sharks, until they reached 15 meters. At the safety stop, Mike counted 7
Like, is
sharks.
David that stupid where he never thought like, hey, maybe these flashes is bothering them?
Sharks circling below them in the blue water. After 3 minutes, they surfaced safely. Back on the boat, Sarah explained that the sharks had likely been feeding in the area and viewed the dive lights as competition or threat stimuli. The group had encountered the most aggressive reef shark behavior Mike had seen in his 8 years.
Try Airwick Vibrant for up to 65
Wait, that's
days
it?
of amazing
I mean, thank God no one
fragrance.
died, but like, I mean, shit. I'm pretty sure that 2 minutes felt like 80. I mean, no, the tank said they were down there for 18 minutes. They were overly excited. Oh my gosh, hurry the fuck up.
Pizza.
Years of guiding. Emma decided to skip the afternoon dive.
I wonder why, Emma.
Bahamas Blue Holes incident.
Emma, did you learn from your mistake, Emma?
On November 14th, 2022, Dr. Amanda Foster led a deep diving research expedition to Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas. Amanda was 41 years old and specialized in technical diving for marine
Damn,
research.
she's
She held
LeBron
certifications
in the
mixed
diving
gas
game.
diving and had explored blue holes throughout the Caribbean. Her support team included James Mitchell, a 39-year-old dive safety officer, and Roberto Silva, a 36-year-old local guide who knew the blue hole's unique characteristics. Dean's Blue Hole was the world's deepest known saltwater blue hole, plunging 202 meters into the seafloor near Long Island. The circular opening measured 25 meters across at the surface before expanding into a massive underwater cavern. At 20 meters depth, the hole opened into a cathedral-like chamber over 100 meters wide. Ancient limestone formations created dramatic overhangs and swim-through passages. The site was famous among technical divers for its depth and pristine conditions. Recent reports from local fishermen mentioned unusual shark activity near the blue hole. Large hammerheads had been spotted in groups, behavior typically associated with seasonal migrations. Amanda's research focused on deep-water marine ecosystems and the vertical migration patterns of pelagic species. The team planned a deep penetration dive to 80 meters, using trimix breathing gas to prevent nitrogen
Get to the
narcosis.
point,
Equipment
Grandpa.
preparation began at dawn, with meticulous attention to gas mixing and decompression planning. Amanda carried twin 18-liter tanks containing 18% oxygen, 45% helium, and 37% nitrogen. to the
Wait, 18% oxygen. Nigga put 100 in that shit.
bottom portion of the dive. She also wore additional tanks with different gas
Oh,
mixtures
she's rambled up. Never mind.
for decompression stops during ascent. James
She's
monitored surface
rambled
support
up.
equipment and maintained radio contact with the research vessel. Roberto briefed the team on local current patterns and marine life behavior.
she's
He
not
mentioned that
playing.
hammerhead sharks use the blue hole as a cleaning station, where smaller fish remove parasites from their skin. The behavior typically occurred at depths between 30 and 60 meters. At 8:30 a.m., the team entered the water in calm conditions with unlimited surface visibility. Amanda activated her dive computer and began descent along the eastern wall of the blue hole. At 15 meters, the walls opened dramatically into the main chamber. Sunlight filtering from above created cathedral lighting effects on the limestone formations. The water remained crystal clear with visibility exceeding 60 meters in all directions.
Holy, I'm just thinking like hammerhead sharks. Like, there's like so much fucking different kind of sharks. Holy.
At 25 meters, Amanda encountered
I
the
knew
first
about
marine
hammerhead
life,
sharks.
a
I'm
school
just
of
saying,
Caribbean
like,
reef sharks. About
oh my
8
god, they're
individuals
back? The light-skin sharks?
swam in loose formation near the wall. Their behavior appeared normal, showing mild curiosity before continuing their patrol pattern. James maintained position above Amanda, monitoring her descent rate and gas consumption. At 45 meters depth, the water temperature dropped to 24 degrees Celsius, and the lighting became more subdued. Amanda's depth gauge showed 50 meters when she first spotted the hammerheads. 3 great hammerheads, each over 12 feet long, emerged from the blue water beyond the wall. Their distinctive hammer-shaped heads swayed rhythmically as they
over
swam.
12
The sharks
feet
showed no
and they're
immediate
probably, like,
interest in the
baby
divers, maintaining their distance while following parallel courses.
Not babies,
Amanda
but-
continued descending toward her target depth of 80 meters. At 65 meters, her dive computer indicated the beginning of significant nitrogen narcosis effects, despite the helium mixture. Technical divers called this depth range the Martini effect, where each additional 10 meters felt like drinking another alcoholic beverage. Amanda's thinking became slightly impaired, but her training and experience helped maintain proper procedures. At 72 meters depth, she encountered something unprecedented. A school of over 20 great hammerheads occupied the deepest visible portion
20?
of the blue hole. The sharks range from 10 to 15 feet in length, with several massive females that appeared to be pregnant. Their behavior suggested a congregation related to mating or feeding activities. Amanda had never documented
No,
such a
do
large
not
gathering
take
of
a picture.
hammerheads in a blue hole environment. She began taking photographs and water samples while maintaining neutral buoyancy, 10 meters above the
Bro,
shark school.
you know how mothers are? She'll be like, you're taking a picture of my baby? Of my baby? You fucked
The largest
up,
female, nearly 16 feet long, began showing interest in Amanda's equipment.
Told
the shark's
you.
approach triggered responses from other individuals in the school. Within minutes, 5 large hammerheads surrounded Amanda at her maximum depth. Their behavior remained curious rather than aggressive, but their size and proximity created an intimidating presence.
No,
Amanda's
duh.
gas supply indicated she had reached her planned turnaround point. She began her ascent, but noticed her dive computer displaying error messages. The depth
Holy shit.
sensor had malfunctioned, showing inconsistent readings that made decompression calculations unreliable. Without accurate depth information, Amanda couldn't safely calculate her required decompression stops. The hammerheads followed her ascent, maintaining their interest in her equipment and movements. At what she estimated
I
was
would have threw the fucking equipment like, bitch, move for me.
50 meters depth, Amanda attempted to signal James for assistance. The nitrogen narcosis effects, combined with equipment failure and the presence of multiple large predators, created a dangerous combination of stress factors. She made the critical decision to abort the research dive and begin immediate emergency ascent procedures. Using backup depth measurement techniques and conservative gas management, Amanda slowly ascended while the hammerhead school dispersed back into deeper water. She completed extended decompression stops at 20, 15, 10, and 5 meters before surfacing after 95 minutes underwater. Post-dive analysis revealed that her computer's pressure sensor had failed due to extreme depth exposure. The hammerhead congregation represented the largest gathering ever documented in a blue hole system, but the equipment failure prevented detailed scientific
Yo. Wait, did nobody die? Nobody died. That was good.